The cage, when he opened his eyes, everything was strange. A soft blue light filled the small room. The walls were made of smooth glass, and the floor glowed faintly. There was no window, no door, no sound, except a soft hum, like a machine breathing. He sat up slowly, his head heavy. His name, he couldn't remember it. His memories were foggy. He looked at his hands. They were human. His body felt normal. But this place, not normal at all. He stood up and walked to the glass wall. Outside, the sky was purple. 2 moons floated high, one blue, one orange. The ground outside looked like sand but shimmered like metal. Giant trees in the distance swayed slowly, even though there was no wind. "Where am I?" he whispered to himself. Suddenly, a strange shape floated by. A small drone, round and silent with blinking lights, hovered near the glass. It scanned him with a red beam, beeped twice, then flew away. He backed up, confused and nervous. What was that thing? Was he being watched? Before he could think more, a hissing sound came from behind. A hidden door in the glass slid open. A tall figure stepped inside. It was a girl, but not like any girl he had seen before. She wore a tight, silver suit with glowing blue lines across the arms. Her face was mostly hidden behind a smooth mask with 2 bright eyes like glass buttons. A tube ran from her back to the mask like she was breathing from a tank. She froze when she saw him standing. Her body stiffened. For a few seconds, no one spoke. Then, in a voice filled with shock, she said, "You can breathe oxygen?" The words hit him like thunder. Oxygen? What kind of question was that? "Yeah," he replied slowly. "I'm human. I need oxygen." The girl tilted her head, still staring at him like he was a wild animal. Then she looked down at a small device on her wrist and tapped it. A soft beep echoed in the room. "Impossible," she said quietly. "This chamber is full of oxygen. That's toxic to our kind. You should be dying." He stepped back, more confused than before. "Toxic? Oxygen is life for me. Who are you? Where am I?" She didn't answer right away. Instead, she walked slowly around him, observing him like a scientist watching a new species. Her eyes behind the mask blinked quickly, scanning him head to toe. "Your body, it's stable. No burning, no breakdown," she muttered. "Are all humans like this?" He nodded, now more curious than scared. "Yeah, I think so. At least, I think I'm human. I don't really remember." She paused, then turned and tapped the wall. A hologram appeared, his body floating, with red and blue energy readings. "You were brought here from the crash site," she said. "Your ship, it fell through a rift gate. We found only you alive." He frowned. "Crash site? Rift gate? Wait, am I on Earth?" The girl looked at him. Then, after a moment, she shook her head slowly. "No, you are on Valeria Prime. This is not your homeworld." His knees weakened. "Not Earth? Then where? How far was this place? Why am I locked in here?" he asked, voice rising. "Am I a prisoner?" She hesitated, then quietly said, "You're not locked in to punish you. You are locked in to protect everyone else. Oxygen is deadly to my people. You're dangerous to us just by breathing." He turned around the room, staring at the smooth glass walls again, but now they felt more like a cage than a room. A beautiful prison. She stepped closer. Her voice was softer now. "But I don't think you're a monster. You're just different, and that scares them." The man looked at her, really looked. Behind the suit, she was curious, not cruel. She was young, maybe close to his age, and she didn't seem like a soldier. "So, what now?" he asked. She looked at the door, then back at him. "Now, I break a few rules." She touched her wrist again, and the lights in the room dimmed. A hidden panel opened behind her, revealing a small tunnel. Come with me, she said. If we don't leave now, they'll come for you, and they won't ask questions. He stared at her, heart pounding. He didn't trust her, but he didn't trust the cage either. He stepped forward. The girl turned, and they both disappeared into the tunnel as the door closed behind them. The oxygen secret. The tunnel was dark, lit only by dim blue lights along the floor. The walls were narrow and smooth like the inside of a machine. As they ran, the girl stayed ahead, moving fast like she knew every turn. The man followed, heart thumping. His feet were bare, his hospital-like clothes torn at the edges. But adrenaline pushed him forward. "Where are we going?" he asked, breathless. The girl didn't look back. Out, away from Sector 9. What's in Sector 9? Scientists and cages. That shut him up. He kept running. After minutes of silent sprinting, they stopped at a dead end. The girl tapped a hidden panel. A quiet hiss, and a hatch opened above. A ladder led into a dark room. They climbed. The room above was strange. Half lab, half bedroom. Machines blinked on the walls, but a bed and books sat in one corner. There were drawings, aliens, humans, planets, stuck on the walls like posters. One showed a human with fire coming from his hands. Another showed Earth. She had been studying them. The girl removed her mask and took a deep breath. Her skin was light green, her hair silver and tied back. Her eyes were bright violet, full of questions and secrets. "You really can breathe this air," she whispered, almost to herself. "It doesn't hurt you." "I told you," he said. "It's oxygen. Humans need it." She shook her head. "For us, oxygen is poison. Even a little can cause nerve damage, blood rot, slow death. That's why we wear the masks outside special chambers." He looked around. "So, this room is full of your air?" "No," she said. "This is your air. Oxygen. I made this chamber for study. I wanted to know the truth. My people told me humans are extinct, dangerous myths. But then, we found you." She showed him a holoscreen, a grainy video of a small escape pod crashing into a red desert. He saw a blur of fire, then himself being pulled from the wreck. "Your ship came through a rift gate," she explained. "Those gates are forbidden. Long ago they were sealed after the war." "What war?" She paused, looked away. "The war with humans." Now he sat down. "Wait," he said, stunned. "You're saying there was a war between my kind and yours?" She nodded slowly. "Hundreds of years ago. You don't remember because you're probably from the old Earth colonies. Maybe even frozen during the war." "It's hard to say." Rubbed his head. A few memories flickered. Flashes of stars, a woman's voice calling his name, explosions. Nothing clear. "Why did the war happen?" She answered with sadness in her voice. "Because humans brought fire and oxygen, and we were afraid." Then she walked to a small case on the wall. Inside was a piece of paper, real paper, old and yellow. She held it up. It showed a drawing of Earth and dozens of arrows shooting out of it like a sunburst. Ships, colonies, expansion. "Humans didn't just explore," she said. "They changed every planet they touched. They made the air like Earth's. They called it terraforming. But for us, it was death." She turned to him again. "That's why you were locked up. They think you're a weapon that breathes poison. But I think maybe you're something else." "Like what?" She hesitated, then stepped closer. "A cure." He blinked. "What?" She pointed to his chest. "Your lungs can process oxygen perfectly. Your cells heal fast in this atmosphere. If I can study your blood, I might be able to make a hybrid serum, one that allows my people to breathe oxygen without dying." He stood up a little, alarmed now. "You want my blood?" "Not all of it," she said quickly, laughing a little. "Just a sample, but you don't have to say yes. I'm not like the others, I won't force you." He relaxed. A little. Then suddenly, A loud alarm rang out. Red lights flashed in the lab. "They've found the tunnel," she said. "We have to move now." She opened a hidden floor panel, revealing another path downward. "Wait," he shouted. "Why are you helping me? You don't even know me." She looked back, eyes sharp. "Because I believed the stories. That humans weren't just destroyers. That you were creators too. And if even one of those stories is true, then maybe you're the key to saving us all." Before he could reply, they both jumped down into the tunnel and vanished into the shadows once again. But high above, in a control room full of glowing red screens, a figure watched them silently. His face was cold, his voice darker than space. "The human is loose," he said to the others. "Initiate lockdown and prepare the dissection chamber." The Rebel Code. The tunnels grew colder as they went deeper. The air was thin, dry, but still breathable for him. The alien girl, whose name was Vera, walked ahead, her violet eyes scanning every turn, every shadow. They had been moving for hours, through forgotten maintenance shafts, sealed-off corridors, and dusty chambers full of rusted machines that hadn't blinked in years. "Where are we going?" the man asked, voice low. "To the ruins," Vera said. "They're beneath the city, very old, forbidden, but I think you'll find answers there." He nodded. He still didn't know his own name. No memories, no identity. Just fear, adrenaline, and a growing hunger for the truth, and a strange feeling in his chest like something inside him was starting to wake up. They reached a broken metal door. The seal was cracked and alien warning signs glowed faintly along the edges. Vera pulled out a small device and connected it to the door's lock. "This place was a human base once," she whispered. "Long before it was hidden. After the war, it was sealed and forgotten." "How do you know about it?" She smiled softly. "Because my mother was part of the rebellion. She believed that humans were not our enemies, but our lost teachers." "Rebellion?" he asked. "A secret group," she said. "Not many left now. We believed that the war was a lie, that your people didn't destroy our worlds, but tried to save them. Some of us kept records, old tech, even DNA samples. But the council erased most of it." The lock clicked. The door opened with a groan. They stepped into a dark chamber. The room was massive, like a buried cathedral. Old Earth banners still hung from the walls covered in dust. A faded symbol showed Earth's continents wrapped in a ring of stars. Giant machines lined the walls, some broken, others humming faintly, as if waiting. But the biggest surprise stood in the center, a huge stone tablet covered in alien symbols and English. He stepped closer. His fingers brushed the words. They were faded, but readable. "To those who find this, we came in peace. We brought oxygen, not war. We terraformed the planets to share life, not take it. We built the gates for unity, not escape. But peace was misunderstood. The council turned against us, and so we hid our knowledge here. If you are human, then know this. Your DNA holds the key." Vera stared at the words, wide-eyed. This proves everything." He looked at her. "What does it mean? My DNA holds the key." She pulled out a scanner from her bag, placed it on the tablet. It beeped. Then a deep sound echoed through the chamber. The floor opened. A glowing blue pedestal rose up. On it, a small cube, floating in midair. Inside it swirled a glowing liquid. Light danced like fireflies. Vera gasped. "The biocode. It's real." "What is it?" he asked. "It's a living file. Only someone with human DNA can unlock it. Inside, maybe a cure, a weapon, a message." She looked at him. "You have to touch it." He hesitated. The cube hummed softly, as if calling to him. He reached out. As soon as his fingers touched it, the cube cracked open. A flash of light hit his chest, and suddenly symbols, memories, images, everything exploded inside his mind. He saw Earth, lush and green, Then he saw giant ships leaving Earth, reaching new stars. He saw humans helping alien worlds grow life. And then he saw war, but not started by humans. He saw the Council, a secret group of alien leaders twisting truth, spreading fear, blaming humans for environmental collapse that wasn't their fault. And then he saw something else. A code. A message. Written by a woman, his mother. "My son, if you're reading this, you survived. The world may call you dangerous, but your blood carries the map. You are the last architect." He dropped to his knees, breathless. Vera ran to him. "What did you see?" He looked up, eyes glowing faintly now. Something in him had changed. "I saw the truth," he said. "I was part of a program, a child, born in stasis with enhanced DNA to carry the last map of the Terra Protocol." "The what?" "A system to rebuild planets, to restore oxygen safely, to help your kind breathe freely again." Vera stared in shock. "That's why they fear you." Before they could speak further, the ground shook. Loud footsteps echoed. "In the tunnel behind. They found us," Vera whispered. Suddenly, drones swarmed in through the broken door. Red lights blinking, weapons aimed. A cold voice echoed through the chamber. "Step away from the human, Vera, or you both die here." Vera pulled out a small EMP grenade. "Run," she whispered. "Not without you," he said. "No time to argue." She tossed the grenade. A flash of blue light exploded, frying the drone's circuits. "This way," she shouted, pulling him through a side corridor. As they fled into the darkness behind them, the council agents moved in. One of them touched the broken cube. "It's begun," he muttered grimly. "The architect is awake." The chase begins. They ran through the old tunnels like hunted animals. Vera's boots hit the ground fast, silent. She knew every twist and turn. The human, still without a name, ran close behind. The cube had done something to him. His mind felt sharper. His legs moved faster. His vision was clearer, like someone had cleaned a foggy window inside his brain. Behind them, the sounds of boots, drones, and something heavier echoed closer. "They're not sending. Just soldiers, are they?" he asked. "No," Vera said, breathless. "They're sending something worse." They exited into a large underground chamber filled with metal pipes and broken machines. A huge vent roared above, blowing dusty wind. Bam! A wall exploded behind them. From the smoke, something walked in. It was at least 8 feet tall, part armor, part beast. Thick legs, glowing red eyes, and 2 massive claws where hands should be. "That's a shredder unit," Vera shouted. "Run!" They ran. The wee shredder moved like a nightmare tank, crashing through pipes and walls as if everything was made of paper. It roared, a deep machine growl mixed with something alive underneath. Vera and the human slipped through a narrow tunnel just before the shredder could grab them. The claw hit the wall behind them, slicing through steel. They dropped down into a lower level. This place was older, darker. Vines and strange glowing fungus grew along the walls. There were signs in English again. Old Earth tech. "Where are we now?" the human asked. "The core passage," Vera said. "Abandoned. Nobody comes here. The power still runs through it, but the council says it's haunted." "Is it?" Vera looked him dead in the eyes. "I don't believe in ghosts, but there are traps." He didn't get to ask more. Suddenly, the floor beneath them lit up. A red grid blinked to life. Alarms screamed. Old defense systems were waking up. "You had to say traps, didn't you?" The man groaned. Turrets dropped from the ceiling. They weren't bullets, they fired electric pulses. One missed him by inches and hit a wall, burning a clean hole. They zigzagged, rolled, jumped over broken platforms. Vera led him through the chaos like she was born in it. Then, just as they reached a doorway, clang. The door slammed shut behind them. Darkness. Silence. They were safe. For now. The man collapsed to the floor, gasping. Vera leaned against a wall, also breathing hard. "You okay?" she asked. "You ever get tired of almost dying?" She smiled faintly. "It's kind of my part-time job." He looked around. This room was different. It wasn't made of alien metal. It looked almost human. Old Earth design, like a small control center. In the middle stood a metal chair, connected to dozens of wires and a holographic screen. Vera approached it carefully. "I've seen this in Rebel files," she whispered. "This was part of the Architect network." "Architect?" She nodded. "The humans who built the terraform systems, the ones who could control air, water, and climate on other planets. This chair, connected to the whole system. You think it still works?" Vera checked a panel. A red light blinked, faint, but alive. "Only one way to find out," she said. She looked at him. "You're the last architect. Your DNA activated. The cube. Maybe this will respond too." He hesitated. He still didn't know who he really was. But something in him wanted to know. Needed to. He sat in the chair. The system whirred to life. Lights blinked on. Holograms floated around him. Maps, codes, images of planets. His eyes glowed faintly again. He didn't just see the data. He understood it. This is a map of the rift gates," he said slowly. "Earth. Valeria Prime. 6 other planets. They're all connected." Vera leaned in. "That's how humans moved across galaxies. You can find Earth again." Then the screen changed. A warning appeared. "Warning. Rift system compromised. Gate control taken. Initiating lockdown." Suddenly, a shadow appeared on the screen. A cold face, not a human, one of the council. "You found the old system," the voice said. "How sweet. But you are too late." Vera froze. "That's High Warden Threx. You've awakened the architect," Threx continued. "But we've already taken the rift core. You can run, but you cannot hide. Soon, the gates will close forever, and the human will be erased." The IKEA screen shut off. The lights dimmed again. Vera grabbed his arm. "We have to leave now." "Why?" "What's the rift core?" "It's the main control point for all interplanetary travel. If they shut it down, we'll never reach Earth, or anywhere else." As they escaped through a side tunnel, they didn't know something had changed in him. His blood wasn't just reacting to machines now, it was evolving, adapting. And somewhere deep in the shredder unit's camera logs, a council tech paused the footage. He zoomed in on the human's eyes. They were glowing, faintly blue, just like the ancient files described. "He's not just an architect," the tech whispered. "He's a prime." The truth buried, the sky above Valeria Prime turned orange as night fell, 2 moons rising over jagged mountains. Deep underground, Vera and the human moved quietly through forgotten halls. The air was heavy with dust and memory. The temperature kept dropping, but something else was chilling. Silence. Not the peaceful kind, but the kind before something bad happens. "Where are we going?" he whispered. "To a grave," she replied softly. "A very old one." They reached a heavy door buried beneath layers of rock and old wiring. Carved into the metal was a symbol the man recognized instantly. Earth's outline inside a ring of stars. "That's the same symbol from the architect map," he said. "It was everywhere in the visions." "This is one of the first human ships that crashed here," Vera told him. "My mother said it was cursed. But I think it holds answers." She touched a panel. It sparked, then hissed open. A cold blast of air hit their faces. They stepped inside. It was a wrecked Earth ship, huge, dark, and twisted by time. Plants had grown through the cracks. Screens were broken, lights dead. But the bones of the place were clear. Command decks, medical bays, cryopods. Most pods were empty. Some still held skeletons. Others had scratches on the inside like people, had woken up and tried to escape. The man walked slowly past one, heart pounding. His reflection stared back at him from the glass, his face pale, unfamiliar. Was I in a pod like this, he asked. Maybe, Vera replied. Or maybe worse. They reached the ship's data core, a massive black cylinder surrounded by cracked tubes. Vera connected her scanner and began hacking. The human walked around the room, fingers trailing across dusty consoles. Then, he saw something strange, a wall panel flickering slightly. Not broken. Still alive. He touched it. The panel came to life. A woman's face appeared on screen. Her eyes were soft, her voice calm, recorded years ago. If you're seeing this, then the war is lost. We failed to warn them. The Council has turned the colonies against us. Earth has sealed the gates, but one chance remains. The man stepped closer, the woman's face. It stirred something in him. My son. If you survived cryo, you won't remember much. That was part of the design, to protect you. You were born with the Terra code inside you. You are not just a child. You are a living key. You can rebuild. You can restore air. You can bring the planets back. But they will fear you, hide you, kill you. So don't trust anyone, except the one with violet eyes. The screen shut off. He stood frozen. Vera stepped beside him, stunned. Your mother, she knew all this. He nodded slowly. His throat felt tight. She sent me here. I'm not an accident. Then the data core beeped. Vera looked at her screen. Her face went pale. What is it? He asked. The ship. It was shot down, she said. By a Valerian satellite. Our own weapons. You mean, we attacked the humans who came in peace? Vera swallowed. Yes. And not just this ship. Thousands. It was a purge. And it was covered up. Suddenly lights flared. An old emergency system blinked to life. A deep alarm echoed through the ship. Warning. Biological anomaly detected. DNA scan in progress. The man backed away. A hidden compartment opened in the wall and revealed a sealed box glowing faintly. Vera scanned it. This isn't just data, she whispered. It's a bioweapon, or maybe a biosolution. The box opened. Inside, a vial of golden liquid. And under it, a message burned into the case. Oxygen is not your enemy. It is your future. Suddenly, a loud crack echoed through the chamber. A wall behind them exploded. Smoke and fire rushed. And the shredder unit stepped through, claws red, eyes blazing. But this time it didn't come alone. Behind it walked High Warden Threx, tall, silent, wrapped in armor. Vera raised her weapon. Back off, Threx just smiled. Still protecting. Him, traitor. He's the key to everything, she shouted. Exactly, Threx replied. That's why he must be destroyed. The man stepped forward. No, he said. His voice was calm, stronger, different. Threx blinked. You activated the code. The man nodded. His eyes glowed again, brighter now. You've spent centuries lying about what we were, about what I am. But I remember now. He held up the vial. This is not poison. It's the cure. Oxygen can live beside your kind. My mother found the way. You just didn't want balance. You wanted control, Threx growled. You think you're powerful? I don't think, the man replied. I know. The ship shook. Power returned to dead systems. Screens blinked alive. Cryopods hissed open. Energy pulsed through the floor. The ship recognized its architect. The walls responded to his command. The shredder unit stepped forward to attack, but the floor beneath it cracked. Metal arms shot up, pulling it into the ground. Vera gasped. You're controlling the ship? Not me, he said. The ship remembers. Threx raised a weapon, but the human raised his hand, and the lights shifted. Oxygen filled the air. Threx coughed. His skin began to burn. He screamed, No, you can't. But it was too late. The chamber locked down. The truth was buried no more. When the silence returned, Vera walked beside the man. "You're not just the last human," she said softly. "You're the first hope we've had in generations." He looked at the stars through the cracked window. "And this is just the beginning, the uprising." The ship's engines roared back to life. For the first time in 2 centuries, a human vessel on Valeria Prime powered up, because a human had returned. The man stood in the center of the command deck, eyes glowing faintly blue. Screens danced around him. His DNA had synced with the ship's core. He didn't need to press buttons. The ship responded to his thoughts. Vera stood beside him, breathless. You're commanding it like it's alive." He nodded slowly. "Because to me, it is." The ship had memories. It remembered Earth. It remembered the war. It remembered the betrayal. And it remembered him. Far above, on the surface, panic spread through the city. People were seeing strange signals in the sky, old human symbols beaming through satellites, images, voices. The truth, finally rising from the dirt. "We came to build, not conquer. Oxygen is not death, it is life." The council called it a virus, a lie, a trick. But it was too late. The people were waking up. Back underground, Vera worked fast, rerouting signals from the ship to the old satellite network. "If we connect to the old Earth relay," she said, "we can send the truth to every system, every planet, not just Valeria." The man nodded. "Do it." "What will happen if we succeed?" she asked. He looked up. "Then the galaxy will remember what we were, and maybe what we can be again." But the council wasn't going down without a fight. In their floating fortress above the capital, High Warden Threx, burned but alive, watched the spreading message with hate in his eyes. "Send the order," he said coldly. "Burn the truth before it spreads, destroy the ship, kill the architect." The full army of Valeria's security force mobilized. Drones, ships, soldiers in exosuits, everything the council had, heading straight for them. Back underground, the ship's alarm sounded. Vera turned from her console. "We have incoming, whole fleet." The man didn't flinch. "Then it's time we showed them what an architect can really do." He sat in the pilot's chair. The ship lifted, slowly. At first, then faster. It tore through the old tunnels, burst through the crust of Valeria Prime, and exploded into the sky like a thunderbolt. Civilians looked up and gasped. A human ship, an ancient myth, was flying again. The enemy fleet came fast. Dozens of ships, in formation, all aimed at one. "They're locking weapons," Vera shouted. "Good," he said. "Let them." The enemy fired. But before the missiles could hit, the ship blinked, literally disappeared, and reappeared above them. "What the hell was that?" Vera gasped. He smiled slightly. "Micro rift jump. Guess my mom gave me all the cool toys." The ship was too fast, too smart. It wasn't built to fight in straight lines. It danced through the stars like it was alive. He hijacked council signals, turned their drones against each other, released EMP bursts that shut down entire wings of enemy ships. The tide turned. Then, something bigger appeared. The Obsidian Crown, the Council's personal warship, 10 times larger than his, covered in weapons, its core pulsing dark red. "That's Threx," Vera said. "Let him come," the man replied. "I have something to say to him." He opened a wide broadcast. "To the people of Valeria Prime, to every world in range." His voice was calm, strong. "You were told that humans destroyed your world, that oxygen is poison, that peace was weakness. But that was a lie. We came to help, to build, to breathe. And now, we are awake again." The people listened. On streets, in ships, in bunkers, even inside council chambers. The rebellion exploded. Citizens threw off their breathing masks. Some couldn't handle it. Years of evolution had made them fragile. But some could. Enough to believe. Scientists began testing the vial he carried. the golden serum. It worked. Slowly. Safely. A cure for oxygen intolerance. Vera sent the data everywhere. Meanwhile, the final battle began. Threx's ship locked a weapon on the human vessel. Vera shouted, "He's going to fire a rift core bomb. It'll collapse. The space around us." The man closed his eyes. Focused. He wasn't just controlling the ship now, he was becoming the ship. Screens glowed brighter. The hull shimmered. And then, he did the impossible. He turned the rift core inside out. The energy around Threx's ship bent, folded, and sent his own bomb back at him. The obsidian crown exploded in silence. Threx's final scream was lost to the stars. Silence returned. His ship floated above the planet, light gleaming across the hull. Victory. Vera looked at him with wide eyes. "You did it." He looked out at the stars. "No, we did." Days later, across the system, statues of council leaders were pulled down. Oxygen flowed again. Masks came off. Children laughed in open air for the first time in their lives. And the human? He didn't disappear. He became a symbol. A bridge. Myth reborn. One day, as he walked with Vera across a grassy hill on Valeria, she looked at him and said, "You know, I never asked your name." He smiled softly. "It's Aiden. Aiden from Earth." The new breath. The war was over. But peace had just begun. Valeria Prime looked different now. Its skies were clear. The moon still hung above like watchful eyes, but they no longer stared down on fear. Breathing masks had been thrown away. The golden serum, the one created from Aiden's blood and ancient human science, was being used in labs, clinics, and cities. Slowly, carefully, the alien people who had once seen oxygen as poison were learning to breathe free. But not all accepted it. And that's where hope becomes braver than war. Eden stood at the top of the old architect tower, once hidden underground, now rebuilt as a sanctuary, a place where humans and Valerians studied together. Children with mixed DNA ran through the halls. Engineers worked side by side with old rebel scientists. Vera walked beside him, her violet eyes glowing brighter, in the clean air. She no longer wore her mask. She didn't need it anymore, but it wasn't easy. It never would be. "There's still tension," she said. "Some don't want change, others want too much too fast." Aiden nodded. "That's how it always is. Oxygen is a slow fire. It burns gently, until it doesn't." They looked over the horizon. Ships were flying again. Not warships, but exploration vessels. Valerian names painted next to human flags. New colonies forming not to conquer, but to grow together. But then came the message, a signal from far beyond the system, one that hadn't been heard in centuries. It was broken, scrambled, but the word was unmistakable. "Earth, calling, any survivors, is there anyone left?" Vera's eyes went wide. "That came from the original Earth channel, but we thought Earth sealed itself off." "So did I," Aiden said quietly. "But maybe Earth is waking up too." They worked fast. Using the architect system still buried inside the ship he'd arrived in, Aiden and Vera opened the rift gate one final time, not to escape, but to reach back home. The Council's control had corrupted the gate system for years, but with Threx gone, the virus had been purged. Now, for the first time in generations, the path to Earth was open again. Eden stood before it, the swirling portal reflecting in his eyes, blue like the sky. Before stepping through, he turned to the gathered crowd. Thousands of Valerians stood watching. Some still feared him, but most now believed. "I am not your ruler," Aiden said, his voice carried across the plaza. "I'm not your god, I'm just human, like those who came before me." He held up a small glass vial, the last dose of the golden serum. "We didn't come to take your world. We came to share ours. Let this breath be your own now," and he gave it, freely, to a child, a young girl with a breathing mask still on her face. Her parents cried as they removed it slowly. She took a small breath and smiled. Vera stepped beside him. "You're really going to Earth?" "I have to," he said. "If even one survivor remains, they deserve to know the war is over, that they can come home, not just to this world, but to the future." She touched his hand. "Then you're not going alone." He looked at her. She smiled. "I want to see the blue planet with my own eyes." Together they stepped into the rift. The journey was strange. The rift gate was not like a wormhole, not instant. It was like falling through memory. Eden saw flashes of his childhood, cryopods, laboratories, his mother's voice whispering lullabies through glass. He saw other humans, hundreds, frozen in time, stored for a future that never came. He heard Earth's heartbeat, buried but strong. Then light. They landed on a platform surrounded by silence. The air was heavy, thick, but breathable. Ahead lay Earth, but not the Earth of his visions, not a planet of shining cities and green forests. This Earth was quiet, broken, but alive. Vera stepped onto the soil, her feet crunching dry grass. "It's beautiful." Even in ruin, Aiden looked around. Tall structures still stood, covered in vines. The ocean sparkled in the distance. No warships, no machines. Just peace. A radio tower blinked softly nearby. He approached it, powered it up. A voice crackled. "This is Eden Station, last outpost of humanity. If you can hear this, we're waiting." He pressed the mic. "This is Aiden, from Valeria Prime. I'm coming home." Hours later, a ship approached. It wasn't alien, it was Earth-made, rusted, repaired 1,000 times, but still flying. It landed slowly. A hatch opened, and an old man stepped out, his face wrinkled, eyes watery. He looked at Aiden for a long time, then said, "You look like her." "Who?" Aiden asked. "Your mother." Tears fell silently. Eden stepped forward. The two embraced. Vera watched in silence, her heart full. The truth was this: humanity never truly died. It scattered, it waited, it held its breath. And now, it could breathe again. 1 year later, the galaxy had changed. Valeria and Earth had signed the First Air Accord, a symbol of trust, exchange, and unity. Children born with lungs ready for both atmospheres. Old Earth ships were being restored. Valerian engineers began teaching on Mars, and the new architects, they weren't just human. They were hybrid, unified. Chosen not by blood but by purpose, Eden didn't rule. He wandered, taught, healed. He stood not as a leader, but as proof that humans could be monsters, but they could also be miracles. And, as Vera stood beside him, breathing freely beneath an alien sun, she whispered the words that began it all. "You can breathe oxygen?" And Aiden smiled. "Yeah. Want to build a world with me?"